Generally, when we consider like changes in the environment out here, it's like big things like oil rigs and migration routes, or like roadways being put in. But, you know, one tiny little piece of metal had an enormous impact.
My name's Hannah Leonard. I'm originally from Missoula, Montana. And a few years ago, I was out hunting on a BMA, a block management area in Montana. My hunting partner and I came across a golden eagle who did not flush when we came across the coulee, and I immediately knew something was wrong. And we rescued the eagle, got it and brought it into our vehicle safely, and contacted a rehab center in Missoula. And it turns out that that golden eagle had some pretty severe lead poisoning, and likely from feeding off of gut piles within that BMA and the surrounding lands. You know, that firsthand experience and seeing how my actions can impact the environment and can impact wildlife in such a negative way, and knowing that I could prevent that very easily by just switching what I'm using when I'm out there hunting and angling. It's just, for me, was a no-brainer to continue the pursuit of lead-free, and I want to make sure everybody else has that same education and can be better stewards of our environment for our hunting heritage.
Here's an initiative that could actually help solve an environmental problem. What a rare opportunity that is to be able to lean into an issue and really make an impact and actually completely solve it.
I teach a couple of classes. One is a field science class. We start out, they do a whole bunch of background research themselves, just about lead ammunition, big game hunting, bird hunting, kind of the differences between those two.
And then we ended up looking at some data and graphing that data to see how ravens and bald eagles were affected by lead ammunition. One of the things we noticed was how the lead levels in bald eagles and then ravens spiked as soon as hunting season started. And to me, especially being a hunter, I mean, what other event could have spiked that other than hunters shooting animals with lead ammunition? I mean, it's not a coincidence.
If you're going to be an ethical hunter, if you're going to be a Teddy Roosevelt conservationist hunter, then you need to think about what happens beyond making an ethical kill on an animal. You need to think about what's left behind in the field. If you're leaving behind a carcass that has particles of lead in it, then you're, in essence, leaving that lead for the scavengers, and that can have a serious impact.
To really understand how lead and non-lead ammunition performs, it's always best to see it and to see it firsthand. And so what we did was we took out commercial grade ballistics gels that mimic soft tissue, just like your animal that you're harvesting this fall. We shot one with lead-based ammunition and we shot one with non-lead, and looked at the difference in fragmentation between the gels. After we shot them, we took the gels back to the clinic to x-ray them to really see inside the gels and get a visual on how many of those tiny microscopic little fragments were spread throughout that gel, which is the same thing that happens every time you shoot your antelope, deer, or elk in the fall. All right, so here we've got our two ballistics gels side by side, and here you can see the vast fragmentation and all those little lead fragments throughout this ballistics gelatin. Well, we had nothing in our lead-free gel. So that's what we're going for, a nice, clean kill, both for ourselves, our ecosystems, and our wildlife.
Knowing what I know now, I would definitely feel terrible about using lead with him, especially. Just seeing it in x-rays, seeing it in eagles, seeing how it impacts an eagle and they're smaller than us. It's hard to even think about that. I don't want to think about it. And that's why for me, going lead-free is the best option for us.
If you can leave less of a footprint when you're out, recreating and out hunting, out fishing or whatever, it's just gonna leave it nicer for the next person. So anybody coming in that's not familiar with it, I would just simply tell them, it's better for you, it's better for the environment, it's just as effective. So why not do it? Why would you wanna take home, meat that has lead fragments in it to feed your family and stuff? You're welcome.
When I worked as manager of the National Elk Refuge, I learned that lead ammunition posed a poisoning hazard to scavenging birds and animals. We implemented a voluntary non-lead program. 24% of the successful hunters used non-lead ammunition, and we were able to detect a 28% drop in the blood lead levels of ravens because of the use of this ammunition.
There's little doubt that hunters and anglers are the backbone of conservation and wildlife conservation in North America. Let's continue that heritage. Support us at Sporting Lead Free by becoming a free member and just helping us spread that word. Let's continue this legacy of enjoying and conserving our wildlife and wild spaces, and use non-lead ammunition and fishing tackle for our sporting.